Hey, welcome. Welcome to I don't know what you want to call this, the countdown to the attack on Iran or the attack that never was. Well, anyway, in case you just happen upon this and you have no idea, my name is Nicole Jatsizian. I am a reporter living in Jerusalem, and I would like to tell you that today is Armenian Christmas in Jerusalem, and only in Jerusalem. Only in Jerusalem in the world. Today is January 19th, 2026, and literally it is Christmas here for the Armenians only, and not the Armenians in Armenia or anywhere else in the world. It's a calendar issue. And but on that note, we took down our tree because having had it up since before December 25th, it was getting a little ridiculous. Okay, so last we spoke here, we were talking about an American attack on Iran because the protests there were appeared to be extremely large, millions of people out on the roads, like demanding an end to the Islamic regime in Iran. But they were very quickly quashed. So what happened? First of all, they shut the internet. I think it was since January 8th. So now we're 11 days with no internet from Iran. We're getting just a trickle of videos. In one of the last videos that I did here, I showed some reports that I found, some videos of them, like of Iranians having to identify their loved ones' bodies, hundreds of bodies out in just an open area, and then just having to go through body bag after body bag to find their loved ones. And you know, at the time as well, and I haven't reported in a couple of days, but there was this, you know, everybody was ready for it. So now I'm sitting here in Israel, and why would we be ready for an attack from Iran if America attacks Iran? It's because we are in the proximity of their ability to you know, for revenge. You know, America attacked us, well, we will attack an American base nearby and or Israel. And of course, at the same time, there was also a lot of talk about that the protests in Iran may or may not have been, you know, according to especially the Iranians and people actually in the West that were also you know, using this narrative, true or not, you know, that it was that the protests were fueled by American and Israeli elements, you know, inside and outside the country. In fact, Iran just showed like this whole display of weapons that they said that they found that are from the outside. You know, they came in, and it was in order to create regime change. So anyway, you know, it's very, very hard to get straight news from there. Internet's been down. You know, we cannot verify on our own the testimonies coming in. And also, when the regime puts out their news, it's from their side. And so anyway, so it's very hard to source the information. And then like one of the main news outlets is an opposition outlet. So, you know, you're whatever. So let's just give you some crazy numbers. The official number from the regime is that 5,000 people were killed in the protests, and that they were violent terrorists and they needed to be put down because they were killing innocent Iranians. The numbers from the opposition or from other sources range between 12 to 20,000 people killed. They also say now from these numbers, these were innocent people, many of whom were children or young people who were out there at the protest, just exercising their ability to protest. I wouldn't call it a right because I don't think they have that kind of right in Iran. But they were protesting. A doctor that is quoted said 16 16,500 people killed. Now, is there were some videos of people that were executed in hospitals, like they were with still like intubation tubes, or you could see like the tape, the surgical tape and stuff like that, like on them. And they obviously were killed in the hospital and then thrown along with the body bags, like to go figure out where is your loved one. Now, remember that President Trump said at first, that Iran, he threatens, you better not kill protesters, you better not do this, better not do that. And his final threat was, you better not hang them, you better not execute them. And so he made a statement a couple of days ago saying that, but they didn't execute the 800 people that were scheduled to be executed, by the way, without a really fair trial, considering there still are protests-ish going on. Like, this is crazy. Like, oh yeah, but they didn't execute the 800. So, maybe I won't attack right now, but it's still not clear. And we are still playing this game, what is it, like 2 weeks later, of whether or not America is going to attack Iran. Oh, well, they have to get their ships over here. And as if the American military really had to, if they needed to, actually get themselves in order before they did an attack. Do you think that the American military is not actually prepared anywhere in the world? So that's what is going on right now, is like the Americans have to move their ships, they have to move their planes. And so until January 24th, they won't be here. So there won't be attack before them. I mean, at this point, Iran is under martial law, according to what I can find out from what I am seeing from the videos that are trickling through the internet blockage. They're under martial law. Nobody leaves their house. People are getting shot in the street. They were getting shot in the street, obviously, through the protests. And now they are not able to leave their house. So this is what's going on. So they are apparently, again, can't verify, but videos coming out that in their houses, there are chants in some cities going out through the window saying death to Khamenei, the Ayatollah. And so there are still protests. There is still spirit. There is still some kind of opposition or uprising going on, though they are trying to quash it, and though they possibly have killed up to 20,000 people. Numbers not verified. The internet's coming back a little bit. By the way, Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham from the US was here, meaning there was not going to be an attack on Iran by America while an American senator was here visiting Israel, because for sure if they knew, they wouldn't have let him come. So once he said that he was visiting Israel, I think he got here, well, today's Monday, and I feel like he was here on Friday or Saturday, I knew there wasn't going to be an attack. I slept much better, because America is not going to attack Iran with potential revenge attack against America if the American senator has been sent here. Okay, so I knew that wasn't going to happen. Now, is it still going to happen? Everybody's still debating it. I have stopped wondering and thinking about whether this could still happen. Also, at this point, I want to know, they're not saving protesters. And yes, 800 didn't get executed, but up to 20,000 were killed anyway, with or without a trial and or calling it an execution. So at this point, I don't know. I just read a post from an expat Iranian who sat on death row, Marzieh Amirzadeh, and she said, outside help or not, the Iranian people are going to defeat the evil regime they're going to defeat it. They are going to defeat it. And I think at this point, I was like watching this and I'm like, as they are saying, death to the Ayatollah and, this genocidal regime that they have over there in Iran, I was thinking that we really, and I usually don't mix spiritual stuff with politics and I just keep the news, but we really need to speak life to the people there and just pray life for them. And that would be they have to do what they have to do, but we need to support them in whatever way we can. And I usually don't also advocate when I'm reporting, but in this case, come on. I don't know. I think it's obvious. Okay, so let me before I move on from Iran, obviously the U.S. attack wasn't going to happen because there was an American senator here. The military equipment, the reinforcement of the U.S. military, the evacuation of the U.S. military from bases in the Middle East. At this point, we are in a political scheme that is just swirling around us. And I have decided to extricate myself from that and to just live life on a daily basis rather than try to guess what's in the heads of all of these people who are making plans to attack, not to attack, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, that's still the leading the news cycles. Somebody I spoke with yesterday, a friend of mine, said that her kids, like, they were saying like, oh, should we be ready tonight? Is Iran going to attack us tonight? And I was like, what did you tell them? Like, how do they even know? And at this point, isn't it old news? Like, shouldn't we just be like, of course they're not going to attack because it's old news and we've moved on and there's, but warmongering is good for ratings. So I guess the news can't give it up. Now, speaking of war mongering, while we were sleeping and or focusing on the attack that wasn't or the attack that will be, well, Syria and the new government, the new Western approved kosher government of Mohammed al-Julani, they have basically pushed the Kurds out of their areas to the utter extremes of Syria, while also killing many in the process. I have no numbers, no idea. But now you look at what happened in Syria since the rebel groups / the new government took over, which was November 2024, not just a couple months ago. It's just over a year old now. So Julani, who is like the ISIS Al-Qaeda hybrid, who is suddenly now the accepted Western approved leader of Syria, who wears a suit now and trims his beard. His army is all like his merry band of rebels that came, meandering down into Syria, overthrew somehow without like almost a shot fired. Assad fled. Bashar al-Assad fled, and so now they're the legitimate leaders of Syria. They back like almost a year ago went after the Alawites, which is a religious minority group. They then, they went after, they didn't like necessarily target Christians necessarily, but there were churches that were bombed, etc. Then they went after the Druze. Now that was going to get out of hand and then it stopped. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that the Druze in Syria are on Israel's northern border. So Israel was like, no, we don't want this breaking out right here. And so I think that's ultimately what stopped it. But now they've set their sights on the Kurds. And they, like what I have been able to gather, and again, I don't know the politics of this and the implications, but the Turks also hate the Kurds, and the Turks also have a big stronghold in Syria. So they went after the Kurds. They pushed them out of many areas. There was a lot of fighting, many killed. I have no numbers, but now I am seeing videos of the Kurds that have been caught, including female fighters, and they are in the hands of these men slash soldiers slash, we're looking at God knows what for these women. I mean, I saw one, he just was holding her by the hair. And a lot of we need to remember this, that a lot of the human trafficking and sex slavery is coming out of these regions. So while they might just simply be slaughtered, they might also be trafficked. Now that's a pretty sick assessment, but this is possibly what could be happening. So you've got the female soldiers that are being caught. You've got other soldiers. You've got them rounded up um, and arrested for who knows what fate, and then also pushed to the utter extremes of Syria toward Iraq. I think also the north. I'm not 100% sure. Again, I'm like all focused on Iran. So like suddenly it's like, what's happening? Oh, wow. Another genocidal act toward another minority group in Syria. And who was there in Syria just now? The U.S. envoy. I don't know if he's considered ambassador right now. Tom Barak was there in Syria having a nice, placid meeting with Giuliani while former ISIS prisoners were being let out of prison, jail cells in formerly Kurdish occupied territories. So now you've got a bunch of former ISIS prisoners running around. They're on the loose in Syria, and they're reuniting with their probably their comrades who are now actually part of the legitimate Western recognized government of Syria. So I mean, this is I wish I knew more about what was happening. I don't know. There's allegedly a ceasefire, but there's still shots being fired. So that's what's going on there. All right. So yeah, I was just saying, like the picture of Tom Barak meeting Jelani was like this dichotomy of this, like, bucolic meeting, like a very official and tidy and quiet and placid meeting, between the envoy and the new leader of Syria, with the other videos that I saw, which are just like little hair raising, to say the least. The videos coming out of Iran, they're trickling. Again, I obviously cannot independently verify them, but, just of shots fired on the street during protests. Apparently, one of the tactics used by the Revolutionary Guard forces was to join the protests and act like they were protesting, and then note who were the leaders, shoot them, and then protect each other on the way out, and then shoot any eyewitnesses along the way. So this is how you apparently get to between 12 to 20,000 people killed during the protests, but our information is limited. Now, okay, Lynn commented that she's been watching 2C TV, and I also get some information from him. I don't know Goldie Gamari, but I'm going to write this name down, Goldie Gamari. And now I also will run these names by my expat Iranian friends, and ask them what they know about these people and what they think, because it's interesting. Though one time I thought I was hearing great news, and somebody pointed out, well, but this is the opposition that's trying to get this or that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. Like it took me 20 years to learn the politics here, and I can say do I really know it? Do you ever really know it? Because this is crazy stuff here. By the way, all day today, all day yesterday, there's like military jets outside all the time, like right now. And why? Like Israel's not doing the attacking, at least in Iran. So what is happening? Well, maybe they're doing the attacking in Hezbollah, which hasn't really stopped. I mean, in Hezbollah, in Lebanon, southern Lebanon, against Hezbollah. But anyway, there's a lot of Air Force activity in the last couple of days, and that only kind of lends to the whole insane atmosphere of whether there's going to be an attack, whether there was, and I missed it, and then I frantically checked my phone. I'm like, did I miss alerts? Did I miss anything? Oh, wow. Let's see. This is probably nothing. It's just a press release from the General Chief of Staff. Yep, we're ready. Israel stands ready. Um, okay, but that doesn't help me to say if something's happening right now. Of course, they're going to say they're ready. What are they going to say? They're going to say something else. Okay, anyway, that is a little bit of a roundup of what's been happening since the last time we talked. Uh, a lot of nothing regarding the U.S. attack on Iran, or a lot of buildup, military and otherwise, on that front. But Syria, there's been a lot of action in Syria. And of course, there's been a lot of action taken to crack down on the protesters in Iran. But we're getting very little information about that right now. So, anyway, as always, thank you for joining, and stay tuned, because, things seem to maybe still be in the cards over here. Not sure. I guess we'll find out. There's only one way to find out. It's just, I guess, wait for a siren. So, anyway, thank you very much for